What's up, Dr. Chung? It's Mike. I'm doing my PDP number 3, and I went to how to write a winning resume. The first thing that the guy talked about was when writing a resume, you want to make sure that you include everything that you think you might need, and then you can condense it later because there may be something that you think you want to take out, but in reality, it could be really helpful on the resume and it could be really beneficial on the resume. Um, the big question that comes with writing resume is how does this promote me? Because the uh, the person who did the seminar talked about a resume is a sales pitch, so you want to be able to sell yourself the best way possible, and you have to sell yourself to the company so that the company can hopefully employ you. Um, and it's important that you put things that are important because employers usually only look at the resume for 15 to 20 seconds, and they have so many different applications that it's important to distinguish yourself and put everything that's most relevant to you and most important to you, because you may only get that much time for like a first impression. When writing the resume, it's important to be creative. Make sure yours stands out, and you want to make yours different from everything else, and uh, you want it to have interesting facts about yourself, but also what makes you unique in your resume. Um, they see plenty of resumes and they want something different, and they want to see why they should hire you versus somewhere else. Um, the format of the resume is very very important. Um, it's one of the most vital aspects of a resume. The big thing that people want to make sure of is when you make a resume, you put things that are from most important to least important. And also, you have to make sure to put your name on it and contact information on the resume on the top of the resume. That's most important, so they know how to get in contact with you if they want to further the application process. Also, on the resume, it's important to use sections versus just one big page of stuff. Um, you should organize it into certain activities, education, personal stuff. You just don't want it to be one big page. You want it to bracket it into certain categories. Also, things should go into reverse chronological order, which is, for example, if I were to do a resume now, I would do college education and then high school education. So for someone, say, who's already been to graduate school, they would do graduate education, then college education, then high school education. Um, the essay has to be easy to read and must have no spelling errors. By having spelling errors, it looks like one didn't put the time and effort that one should for a resume. Um, Something I thought was very interesting was how the guy talked about how you want to put your education and what you want to put for education based on where you stand. For example, I'm a freshman, so I don't really have too much college education. I'm only going to have one semester by the time I start putting together my resume. So I would focus more on my high school credentials versus my college credentials. Um, but as you keep going up and up through college, such as college graduate, you may only put where you went to high school, not even your high school like GPA or anything like that. That was, I think, the most interesting and eye-opening thing I saw at the seminar, because I would have just thought that I would just put college, Villanova University, 2015, but instead that I would focus more on my high school things that I did in high school. And he said once by sophomore year, you do want to have it like 50-50, and then by junior year, you can put more things based on college, and not to put your GPA until you're applying for jobs your junior year or for internships your junior year, because if you do it to if you put your GPA, it's not very reflective of your intended major, because by your junior year when you're applying for internships, you may only have like one course or one or a couple credits for your major. Um, the Another thing that's really important, this is the last thing. The format of how you put together your certain like brackets is really important, because um, it's reflective of who you are. So, for example, I take pride in like the activities that I've done, so that would be something important and probably put closer to the top of the resume. But this is where like people you can be creative and different with your resume because you never want to have the same resume. You never want to have your resume look exactly like someone else's because then that's not distinct. Um, just because like one person does one thing, they take pride in one thing that they do, doesn't mean that you have to put that there. Um, so it's important you format it from most important to least important, and not to do it just based on someone else's resume, like a generic resume that you follow like step by step, because that's not reflective of who you are. Uh, the last thing is when sending a resume over the mail, it is important to include a cover letter. But if you were to just drop off your resume, say um, at a build like employee building or something like that, you don't include a cover letter, and then the cover letter should include like 3 paragraphs and just talking about why you want the position and your motives for applying for the job. Um, I learned a lot from the seminar. I thought I had a good idea of what a resume was from my high school resume for applying to colleges, but it turns out that college resumes, when you're doing resumes for internships or jobs, it's much different than like your high school resume. So I really learned a lot, and I really happy I went to it. So thanks.